Today we're going to review another rookie mock draft. This one's a one-rounder. It's Superflex. I'm not in these drafts. I don't take part in these drafts. They get sent to me. I review them, and we do this weekly on the channel, and we've been doing this for years. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now because we're looking at mock drafts. We're going to be looking at these rookie rankings, running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, all off season long. We're going to get you ready for your rookie drafts like we do every year on the channel. Click that button, stop missing out. But we're going to start with our first pick of this Superflex rookie mock draft. It's kind of interesting because there are some storylines in here like we do see with every mock draft. These guys draft a little bit differently from draft to draft. But starting off with the first pick, and I'm not surprised, Ashton Jeanty coming off the board at the 101. And why some of you would question that is because usually in some leagues where it's usually strapped to quarterback goes numero uno de facto no matter what every single year. But I'm seeing a lot of Superflex drafts. Ashton Jeanty, 101. First picked off the board and will be the first running back off the board in the NFL draft. Highest drafted running back we've seen in a little while. 2,600 yards, 29 touchdowns. Not the greatest performance against Penn State, but okay. Like, didn't kill a stock or anything like that. Market sentiment is high. It can't get much higher than what Ashton Jeanty has. He's pretty much locked in there. And when you factor in market sentiment, he's a running back. We did not get a good running back class last year, so we're kind of FOMOing for that right now. It is very understandable, especially when you look at the quarterbacks in this year's class. Everybody's questioning it. I understand him going as the first pick off the board. I totally understand it, and I'm not going to hate on it. And I understand some people in deeper Superflex leagues, more established Superflex leagues, wanting to go the other way. Because I've seen it through the history of drafting. I've seen it through my history of rookie drafts, comment sections, and everything else. Whenever people start going to other position, they start questioning that because they know that you swing on that first round quarterback and you just pray to the gods. Because if they hit, you got fuck you money pretty much on your team. That's pretty much what you got. But looking at the 102 here off the board, Superflex, Shedeur Sanders come on down. Could be the first player selected depending on what happens in week 18. Probably not. But first quarterback off the board, more than likely from what we're seeing here. And a guy here that can get you a little bit of something here with his athleticism. Can get you a little bit, even though the rushing yards doesn't say it. We see it on the field. He can stretch the play. He can make some big-time moments on the field. That's what we see from Shedeur Sanders. 4,100 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Again, not against the greatest competition in college football, but still he had some big moments. He's got a big arm. He can make those plays happen. He can stretch it out to make that play a little bit longer. He's not really a liability to his team at all either. Wherever he's been at, he's won. And at Colorado, he went over there and got better throughout his time there. Look at the completion rate from 69 to 74%. Just getting better over time. And prior to that, he was good. And now we're looking to step things up to the NFL level. Some people don't like him at the quarterback spot. I'm trying to be Bayesian right now. When it comes to the quarterback spot, I kind of just play the values with it and how I like the other positions and just barter with that. I do like Jeanty a lot. I do like the running back position a lot. I might move up and down the board due to that. In some of my leagues, I'm just going to play around with the running back position a lot this year in rookie drafts, considering it's a little bit dry consider last year's rookie drafts. That being said, though, Shedeur Sanders at the 1 or 2 spot makes sense here, considering the quarterback position. I wouldn't be surprised if you went another way. I would not be surprised. This pick here went another way at the 103. It makes sense. We're looking at T-Mac. T-Mac coming off the board. Big time prospect at the wide receiver position. And some people are saying the wide receiver position this year as a position group is a little bit light in the pants. And getting a guy like T-Mac early is a big deal. and you can catch running backs a little bit later, and maybe you can catch fire there because it is the running back position, and some running backs just get into those opportunities, and even better running backs sometimes don't. That being said, almost 1,400 yards in back-to-back seasons, 18 touchdowns total in the last 2 years. Productive as a freshman. This guy's got sticky hands. He's a play waiting to happen. 13.7 average depth of target this year. 16.2 as a freshie. That being said, with the way he plays the game, you just see him getting deep targets downfield. And it depends on the offense, and it really depends on the quarterback. If it's not a good situation, I don't look for him to be a bust, but I look for him to be an okay volatile play. But if it's a great situation, I see upside city. I see a guy going off. Considering the low and the high, I like that for him. I like that a lot. Moving on to our next player coming off the board here. And things are getting thick. Things are getting hot and heavy. And you might have a guess right now, but it might switch you to another direction. We're looking at Omarion Hampton right now. Back-to-back big seasons, 30 touchdowns on the ground in the last 2 seasons. Big boy that can move, that can lay the hammer into second level. 4.35 yards after contact per attempt, 4.22 the year prior, and that's with a shit ton of carries. And we're getting work in the passing game at his size. He's going to be a bell cow. He's going to look to get touches, and he's going to get drafted early, and he's going to get those opportunities. And getting drafted early in Superflex, even if it's a spot earlier than this, if you like him that much, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I like him. I'm over the moon with him, and I'm going to give me a lot of Hampton, and I feel like he might fall in some leagues because this is a stacked class. Going over to the 105 spot, looking at the next player off the board here, guess who it is? Cam Ward. My number 1 quarterback out of the transfer portal went to Miami, and he did well. And he's a guy that can sling it. He's got a fast mental processor. He can extend the play. And really depends on where he goes in the draft. He's more likely, or he will be a first-round pick in this year's draft. The quarterback position's very light. We're trying to see what the rest of the position group's really going to look like. Cam Ward is a guy that went to Miami, transitioned fast, did well at Washington, and he is a guy that is probably going to transition quickly to his next offensive unit, to his next offensive scheme. He already proved that from 2023 to 2024, from Washington State to Miami. 3,700 yards to 4,300 yards. 39 touchdowns to just 7 interceptions. And there are some games he was dicing it. He was pushing it at 9.8 average depth of target. 9.8 yards downfield for every target on average. Very solid. A guy that will push it. A guy that has a good mental processor. A guy that can really distribute the rock on his team. Will need some development. Not 100% NFL ready. But a guy here that has a lot of upside and tools that can get you excited. And when we're talking about Superflex first-round quarterbacks, you can't ignore them. You can sit there and say you don't like them. You can't ignore them. Think about Bo Nix. Think about some of these first-rounders that were like, like Josh Allen back in the day. Just think about those guys. Think about them getting some seasoning. Think about those quarterbacks that we all liked that didn't hit. The quarterback position is just always up in the air in the first round. So sometimes you just got to drop those nuts on the table. But when it comes to the 106 pick here, they dropped the nuts on the table. Let's see what they did here. Kaleb Johnson. I like Kaleb Johnson a lot, and I have him up there with the top backs. I have him up there. He's a first-round pick, easy. 1,500 yards, 21 touchdowns. Went off as a freshman, and he's a guy that's been on my radar as a high school recruit even. He's a guy that's got some good size and just athleticism to him. 4.42 yards after contact per attempt. 3.34 as a freshie. That being said, we got a running back here that can take over. We got a running back that could be more productive at the NFL level than Ashton Jeanty. That could definitely do that. We got a running back here. We put him in the 2024 class. Damn right, he's going to be overdrafted over a guy with a torn ACL. Damn right that's happening. The torn ACL running back ain't going to be the RB1 in Dynasty rookie drafts no more if you put a Kaleb Johnson in there. That being said, he's the first running back selected in 2024. That's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to be creative. Kaleb Johnson's that dude. This is a stout running back class. We're going to start doing running back rankings soon. Be on the lookout for that. Hit that subscribe button due to that so you're ready for when that happens. How that works is I'll just pick 5 players from another list. I'll start off with those 5, and then every week I keep adding to the list, ranking, doing tiers, going over stats. And as I keep going over data, film, I keep telling you what I've seen, what I've went over, and you keep telling me in the comments, and we go back and forth, and we keep creating these rankings every week because it's draft season. We have nothing else to do. 107 off the board, and you're going to have to guess this player. Nothing too exciting here, usually going off in this range, but we're looking at Quinshon Judkins. Playing against Oregon, just wrapped up this game. I dropped on the horn right here to jump on a mock draft. 107 off the board. And many forgot that he was considered the top running back in college football 2022-2023. During that whole time span. At Ole Miss, just rocking it. And Zach Evans here as the gatekeeper. Just walked right through that gate and is the man there. We went to Ohio State. We're trying to win a ship. That's the goal there. We already accomplished everything at the college level, at the SEC level. We put that all on tape here. 5.3 yards per carry at Ohio State. We're pushing it on the ground. We're sharing the backfield. We're not going to have a lot of tread, or we're going to have less tread than what we would have at Ole Miss going into the NFL level here. It might match up due to some extra games, but we're going to have a little less tread. We're going to be good to go. We've already proven ourselves. 3.38 yards after contact per attempt as a freshman. 3.28 in 2023. Over 3 our entire career here. 78 missed tackles forced in 2023. That's him being the dude. He's not the dude. He's sharing the backfield, which might be a smart look for his longevity. We got size. We got pop. We got vision. We've proved all that. We've proved we can handle a full workload. Quinshon Judkins at this point of the draft, considering what we knew in 2023 and 2022, this is a hell of a discount. We're moving on to our next pick off the board here. Moving on to our next dude. And we're looking at Travis Hunter at the 108. The Heisman Trophy winner. Might be the first player selected in the draft. Tons of upside here. Is he going to play a lot of corner? Is he going to play a lot of wide receiver? I don't know. At this point of the draft, I just try and stay Bayesian. So if we're looking at him at wide receiver mostly, then you have to really think things through and be like, hey, this guy's going to be very impactful for Dynasty Fantasy Football. If you got a 50-50 split or more towards the quarterback position, that's going to be rather dicey. We have no way to know this on January 1st. So we're looking at this as him being a wide receiver because that's what everybody's looking at right now. And we're doing so many videos that we're just going to automatically adjust as things unfold anyways. 10.4 ADOT, 12.6, and a 10 in 2022. We're getting targets deep downfield. 96 catches this year, 15 touchdowns. We can put you on skates with the route running. We're very explosive. And this is a guy that's highly confident. And you're catching him at a good discount in this draft. In a lot of other drafts, I'll see him higher. I'll see him up there in T-Mac range. That being said, he's all over the board. This draft is all over the board because we're deep at running back. There's a lot of questions at the quarterback position. In the wide receiver position, the market's trying to figure out. Going over here to the 109 pick, we're still looking at the wide receiver position. And we got another first rounder that's still coming off the board here, Luther Burden. I believe he's going to be a first round pick. I believe he's going to be highly selected here. I think he's also living off like his high school pedigree. 1,200 yards though in 2023, 8.4 yards after the catch per reception. He's very explosive though. I think right situation, he could go off. I think he's a very good prospect. I think the fact that we have a lot of good running backs is going to dilute him down a little bit. I think the 109 range here in Superflex is fine. I also see him go a lot higher too. I definitely see that. I think this is a good deal for him. I don't know if it's actually realistic, but when you look at these running backs, and if a good bit of them go in the second round, I think a lot of people is going to chase that because of what we saw from the 2024 rookie draft class. It's wrapped up almost where you got to pour some liquor out. It was not pretty this year, and that might change, but that ain't going to change market sentiment right now. So that's going to impact rookie drafts. I do not care what they're doing in 2025, 2026. I care about the market sentiment right now and what I'm paying for my players. Luther Burden might end up being a discount, even though he's a first-round pick. That's something to pay attention to. There's a chance that he falls a little bit, but when you're looking at mock drafts, you're looking at market sentiment, you look at the production, you look at the tape, you get a good feel that he's going to be up there a little bit in the draft. There's a good chance for that. Moving on to the 110 pick here. A very explosive playmaker here's coming off the board. They selected a good one. This is a good value here. TreVeyon Henderson. I look for him being a good 1B or a 1A back in a tandem. He's very explosive. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He's a guy that can take over games. He can make that one splash play just to light your hair on fire and really take over. He's a guy that only needs 10 to 12 touches a game and be fantasy relevant. He's a guy that in the right spot too, with the right quarterback system and getting flooded with enough targets, can be very dangerous in fantasy. His game is built for fantasy with how explosive he is and how good he is in the passing game. He was often injured throughout his career, or you would have light up statistics here. You would be going off here. But the fact is that might create a discount for you, but the NFL draft's going to say no. They're going to take this guy pretty high. He'd be flirting with being the RB1 in last year's class, and the fact you put him up against a healthy Jonathan Brooks, and you look at what he did against Oregon today, and some of those highlight plays this year, a lot of you guys are going to go with Hendo. A lot of you guys are going to do that. That 2024 class, there were some backs in there that had some promise and some good things that got in some good spots here that never materialized. It's not holding a candle to this year. This is a deep class. Hendo's a damn good running back for the 110 spot. I'm excited to draft in the second round this year too. There's going to be some good running backs, some good playmakers to look at here. Next player off the board at 111, Isaiah Bond. Highly athletic, highly talented wide receiver here. A lot of upside. ADOT's there. Production's really not. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back another year. I wouldn't be surprised. Texas has another game against Ohio State. We'll see what happens there. He was dealing with some injuries. 33 catches, 532 yards. He might feel like his draft stock might be a little bit in flux. Highly talented wide receiver, though. You turn on the tape, you get excited a little bit. That's the thing about Isaiah Bond. So that's something to pay attention to. When I watch Isaiah Bond, I like the tape. I like what he's doing on the field. That being said, watch out for him. Watch for his decisions. Watch him on the field. Isaiah Bond, I see him going in the back half of the first round in a lot of mock drafts. Final pick in the first round, we do have a new guy. I'm excited to talk about him, Tre Harris. Tre Harris is a baller. Tre Harris makes plays downfield. Tre Harris is going to be a guy who's going to be liked in the fantasy community, but is also going to be hated because he has those extra years at college. However, productive. Year 3, Louisiana Tech, 935 yards. Transfers to Ole Miss, instantly 985. That quick transition lets me know he can transition from one school to another and be able to produce. So there's a good chance. Doesn't mean there will be, that he can transition from the college level, from the SEC level, to the NFL level, and compete. And when I say compete for a spot, compete for opportunity, compete for routes, maybe even be productive. But there's a chance here with Tre Harris. You watch the tape, this guy's a baller. 60 catches, over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. Fun wide receiver to watch. 5.15 yards per route run this year. That's a nasty stat. 12 ADOT, 7.7 yards after the catch per reception. So getting our targets downfield, getting that volume. 6'3", 210 per PFF. We'll see later at the combine. I just look at the tape and be like, well, he's tall. He looks good. He's got some length. That's all I need to know. But we're looking at these players here. Stump fell. And one of my favorite wide receivers fell. And shame on these guys. Emeka Egbuka fell. I think he's going to be drafted in the first round. I think he's a good route runner. There's some good running backs that fell. I want you to name them in the comments below, but that's how it is. There's always a player or two that falls, especially when you throw in a couple quarterbacks in the mix. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. Well, thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.